It's not like it is in the books. I mean, it's not. Me and Mark make barely enough to eat and survive right now, even though we pay this with this overhead that we're all in the studio. It comes in waves. Sometimes we sell a bunch of paintings. Sometimes, you know, well, you try to wonder why you're doing it financially. But it's fun. It's fun to make your own artwork. You feel good at the end of the day. You broke a lot.
I only think about money when I'm at my last dollar. You know, and I think, fuck, man, poor again. I don't get it. How do I keep getting so poor? And then I try to come up with a way. And then once I have a few bucks put away, then all of a sudden I'm not thinking about it at all. You know, which I think at some point is going to lead me to abject poverty.
Why do you sell your records so cheap?
Well, first off, it's sort of real economy. We don't, since the label doesn't actually act like most labels, and we're not bothered by the kind of structure that most entertainment labels use, which is largely legally based, like a lot of copyright stuff. We don't have contracts. We don't have lawyers. We don't hire out press agents. We just don't take in all the mess. It's very simple, like what we do. So therefore, we know what the real economy is, like what we spend on a project, and then how much we can sell it for to make that money back, and then make enough money for the artists, whatever, for everything to continue on.
Do you record your own stuff ever? Yeah? Could produce it and record it at home? Yeah. Why do you do that as opposed to paying lots of money and going to a studio and having someone else do it and have it maybe sound, you know, a little bit better and cost a lot more?
Exactly.
Dealing with agents or whatever, managers or whatever the hell, I can easily trust myself, or you know, I don't know where people's intentions are, you know, in the long run with big business. I've been from the music industry. Now I'm finding out the art industry is exactly just as evil as the music industry.
I suppose that's why I've always tried to do things myself, and it's really hard to do because it costs a lot of money, and so I try to live my life as inexpensively as possible so that I can actually save money to, you know, publish my own books or my own postcards or whatever.
So I think that from our point of view, on the one hand, it's based on a real economy. The second half of that equation is that I buy records, and I'd rather buy a record for $10 than $15.
What do you think of Napster?
I think it benefits artists on a smaller level, and maybe not the ones who are already millionaires.
That's good.
But I mean, hey, I think that the people who aren't millionaires deserve to benefit more than the people who are at this point from it. So
there's many schools of thought, and the people that really sort of stand up and are vocal about it are the ones saying, look, it only helps promote you and blah, blah, blah. But I think that there's a whole huge school of thought that just think that they shouldn't have to pay for music, and I think that that's bullshit.
And as the bandwidth increases and we can get, you know, CD quality digital music as fast as as fast as we get MP3s, then the crucial issue is going to be figuring out how to compensate people fairly for their art and cutting out the middlemen who really have no purpose anymore.
I had to publish my own stuff, so I started publishing zines, and I started leaving them for free in different comic book stores around the city. And this one guy said, hey man, don't leave them for free, you know, you gotta sell them for something, sell them for $1 or whatever, because people don't value, if they get something for free, they're just gonna toss it out. And if people pay for something, value something, then they'll hold on to it and they'll treat it a little more respectfully, I guess.
It's a real finesse kind of a deal, compelling people to plan an evening, buy a ticket, get in their car, and go see something their better nature tells them they shouldn't see.
All right, down my head. It's the lowest form of entertainment. Tell your friends. Thank you for coming. Get the fuck off my head.
I'll shoot a band for $200 or a friend for $200 just for some cash, you know, like instant cash. But then if a band from a record company comes to me and says, we need some photographs, I'm going to charge them a fortune.
Because, I would sit in the studio and stare out the window, sit on the couch and think, oh, it's costing me $1,000 to stare out the window. Somehow I would be paralyzed in that position just thinking that, and the day would go by and I'd leave. And there was $1,000 out the window, and I figured I could do that at home.
And doing it myself with no agent or anything means I'm just basically doing it, a lot of hustling, like running around town, like right now in this taxi cab, going to this recording studio right now, and to hang some artwork there, and then I have to run to Trash and Roger with the clothing store to try to peddle my t-shirts onto them, you know, so it's just basically just trying to scrambling for money.
But I'm so highly organized and structured, and I've kept my overhead so low, and have been able to find outlets, but I have to live my life 6 months in advance in order to support myself. And most people can't do that. That's very frustrating, because you feel as if you're trapped by time almost, because you have to know what's going to happen, because otherwise you might have to get a day job, and that's just anathema to my nature.
I haven't had a job this time for about 6 months, and I'm gonna see if I can just never, ever have a day job ever again, because I hate working.
He wants to know what I do for the company, what I think of the new product, how much my stock options are worth. I tell him the truth. This is sort of weird, I say, but I'm supposed to be here to read poetry?
No matter what happens, I'll never get more than minimum wage, because there's so many hours to account for before I can get past that mark. So certainly I think anybody that writes for money, you know, probably the same with music, it's just a fool.
Why don't you have an agent?
10%. Why don't I have a manager? 15%. Why don't I have a publicist? $5,000 a month.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
I'd be a publicist.